Daredevil, Born Again introduced the White Tiger early in the season, but now, after the character's demise, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, has already moved on to his replacement just one episode later. Matt Murdock finally gets to lead his own show in the MCU, with Charlie Cox reprising his role from the Netflix Marvel series. And along with Matt, several other familiar characters return to feature prominently, such as Wilson Fisk, Karen Page, and Foggy Nelson. And in addition to the returning cast, there have been several new characters joining the show to further expand the story and tie it to the wider MCU. For instance, Murdock teamed up with a new lawyer, Kirsten McDuffie, and together they built a thriving firm. Matt also leans on the help of a few key figures who assist him to perform his work as a lawyer, since Matt has decided to leave his vigilante life behind. And while Matt retired from his role as Daredevil after Foggy died, he continues to have respect and admiration for others who put their lives on the line and perform heroic actions, despite not being paid or responsible to do so. And that's where Hector comes into the story. Hector Ayala's White Tiger was a great, but short-lived MCU character. Hector Ayala may be the shortest-lived MCU hero. Hector Ayala has had a presence in the first 3 episodes of Daredevil, Born Again, as the character's alter ego, White Tiger, was mentioned, and then Ayala got caught up in a court case when his interventions to stop a man being beaten up by 2 other men resulted in one of the 2 accidentally being killed by a train. Unfortunately for Ayala, the men who were attacking the stranger in the subway were police, and they altered the story to make it appear as though he had attacked them, unprovoked, and then pushed the officer in front of the train. As an active vigilante, Hector's instincts kicked in when he saw someone in need, and he ran to help. Those same instincts are the reason Matt found him in a lockup, and decided to defend him in court, after hearing his story, and determining that Hector was telling the truth. Hector didn't give up on defending New York City, even when Daredevil went silent, and despite his ultimately short time in the MCU, White Tiger's life and death are evidently important factors in motivating Matt to return to becoming the vigilante hero known as the Daredevil. Hector Ayala's story in Daredevil, Born Again follows the comics. Hector's fate was decided long before the show began. Hector's story in the comic books actually closely tracks with what happened in the Marvel TV show, with Hector being wrongly convicted in a court case where he is accused of murdering someone. In both the show and the comics, Hector is eventually shot, and the character's legacy lives on through their family, but there are also deviations in how this narrative was presented. For instance, in the comics, Hector becomes more and more paranoid. Instead of being acquitted, as he was in the show, Hector is initially found guilty, and in a fit of frustration and rage, he turns a gun on his lawyers, Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson. In the show, Foggy is no longer alive, Matt is now working with a new partner, and he manages to win the case, and get Hector exonerated. This shows that the people of New York have respect for heroes like Ayala as the White Tiger. Unfortunately, despite winning his freedom, and having the support of the people, the corrupt police did not forgive Ayala, and decided to do some vigilante justice of their own. Ayala was shot just a short distance from his home, as he donned his White Tiger suit by a man with a Punisher logo tattoo. Daredevil, Born Again episode 4 introduced a White Tiger replacement. Angela Del Toro will be the White Tiger. With this scene ringing out as the cliffhanger for Daredevil, Born Again episode 3, it was kind of a shock that the show almost immediately introduced the character who is the most likely to become the next White Tiger. Angela Del Toro is Hector's niece, and she clearly had a close relationship with her uncle. She visits Matt to find out what happened, and, in a state of intense sadness and rage, she explains how much she detests the system that caters to corrupt cops, while pushing people from the heights further down. The character is played by a young actress, Camila Rodriguez, who is just 15 years old, which could mean she takes more time before becoming the next White Tiger, or she could join the growing team of young Avengers in future MCU installments. Clearly, Angela has conviction like her uncle, and a strong sense of right and wrong. And with her connection to Matt Murdock, she could find herself being guided towards becoming the White Tiger fairly quickly. With the power of the White Tiger amulet, it's conceivable that she could quickly step up and become an effective vigilante hero. How Angela Del Toro's White Tiger could be important to Daredevil, Born Again. Daredevil could have a new sidekick in Daredevil, Born Again. So far, both the MCU and Daredevil appear to be moving towards a focus on a younger generation of heroes. Several MCU shows have introduced young heroes like Kate Bishop, Billy Maximoff, and Kamala Khan. In addition, animated shows like Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which happen in another part of the multiverse, show Daredevil, also voiced by Charlie Cox, taking on a role as a mentor to a young hero, Finesse. It's conceivable that Matt will end up taking on a similar role to Angela in Daredevil, Born Again, helping the young woman channel her energy and anger into something more productive. It seems clear that Del Toro will carry forward the legacy of her uncle, Hector Ayala, but considering her young age, she will need some help and guidance. Considering the firm stance Wilson Fisk is trying to implement against vigilantes, and his apparent connection to the people responsible for killing Hector, Angela will likely want to get answers from the Kingpin himself. And possibly, Kingpin will recognize some of the iron will and conviction he saw in Maya Lopez, aka Echo. Whatever happens, it appears very likely that Angela Del Toro will be the next White Tiger, either in Daredevil, Born Again, or somewhere else down the line.